This is Hoagie in Chicago.
Esfo in Windsor. Let's rock this. Let's go.
Let's do it, bud. Get right into it here. All right.
So last week. Sorry, let's get this going here. Last week we did our favorite concerts. A lot of guys have some good topics there that we'd love to get into. Rule changes. Marty wants to go back to the Stone Age, and I want to stop block shots. Last week we pretty much wrapped up in a bow that the Leafs will be Stanley Cup champions, so don't have to worry about that, Leaf fans. It's going to happen. We talked about that last week.
Exactly.
So for this week, what do you got, Hoagie?
This week, first of all, as far as the Leafs thing, I love Bernick. Bernick fires a tweet. And he says he's shocked that it took 4 episodes to get into Maple Leaf stories.
True.
And that's probably true. I think a lot of guys, especially with yourself, being a Leafs fan, I think they maybe expected it to be heavy Leafs talk. But I think that just proves, the diversity of the pod. And that this isn't a one-trick pony.
This is not cookie cutter podcast.
It's not cookie cutter, and although in my opinion, you've had your head in the sand for a good 30 plus years, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
I hope so. Sure hope so.
Definitely, but good stuff. So we'll keep it fresh for the boys, and we'll talk about whatever they want. So we need to make sure that they keep firing us stuff on Twitter and on the Gmail and on Facebook and on text message and all that good stuff. Whatever they want to chat about, we're open to it.
Yeah, so that's one thing I brought up there. The Facebook account and other avenues of reaching us have not been established yet because we had to rescind the fully completely name for possible legal reasons.
Yep.
I don't want Gord knocking down my front door,
Exactly.
So we're still taking suggestions, but we just gotta make sure we get it from the right person because if somebody gives us a good idea and we're gonna hear about every podcast about how they helped us out, we're just not gonna take it. So we need ideas, but we're coming there. We got to get that going before we name our baby and give it birth to the cyber world. We got to get a good name on it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. So keep them coming. And I like a couple that you sent me over the weekend. We'll talk about that off the air, but we'll get it out in the next little bit here. All right.
Sure.
Moving on. Agenda for this week. So we got some pretty good feedback from some of the boys about, and I forget who said it initially. Doesn't matter, but I think it was K-Boy talking about, his wording of it was, the best with the least and the least with the most. So basically,
right.
Guys that overachieve and guys that underachieve. So let's look at it.
Shocker needed help.
He did.
He texted me. He's like, I want to reply, but I have no idea what that means. So we're just talking about people who got the most out of their ability and people who squandered it. So That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
so
well put.
We got some good feedback there. Yeah.
Yeah. So K-Boy, for his kind of overachiever, we'll just refer to it as that from now on. Theo Fleury, considering his past, I'm not sure what that means, and his size, and also Ty Domi. 1,000+ games as a small enforcer. And then
it's crazy.
It's wild, right? I mean, what a career for Ty. And then his underachievers, Thomas Vanek, in brackets, lack of drive, and Pavel Brendel, in brackets, fat.
Did you follow?
You want a fat. You want a fat.
Oh fuck! Do you ever follow Jeff O'Neill on Twitter?
I do, yeah.
He when he first started, he would find a picture of his daughter taking a nap and take a picture of it and just say, reminds me of Pavel Brendel before a big game.
No.
Oh yeah, because all the guys on Carolina just hated him, right? Yeah. They said he'd be in deep sleep between the hotel and the rink on the bus. He couldn't care less.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But Brendel, I just pulled him up here, So he's an 81, 34 right now. He last played in some Slovakian league in 14-15. Number 4 pick overall. Not going back to what we said we weren't going to do is go back and look at old drafts, right? Because that takes up the entire show. But number 4 pick overall in 1999. Do you have it in front of you or no?
No.
Okay, so don't pull it up for a second. I'm going to put you on the spot again, just because you proved last time that you can remember the 1990 draft. You know, just to add it to the mix. So let me see here. 1999 NHL draft. Do you know? So Brendel was 4 overall. Do you think you can name the 3 guys taken before him?
I can, right off the bat, because
really?
it's two Swedish brothers.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, and then that fucking wasted life. And he could be on the
all bus team,
I think I went a little heavy. I went a little heavy with the wasted life thing, but maybe not that. But, waste of talent. Patrick Steffen.
Yeah.
Patrick Steffen won, and was it Daniel Henrik or Henrik Daniel?
Exactly, Daniel Henrik. Yeah.
Alphabetical order.
Alphabetical. Jesus.
Berkey.
You're good.
But think about that, though. Calgary, I'm looking at Brendel. Calgary Hitman, his first year in North America, 134 points in 68 games.
Oh, insane, right?
And just did nothing in the NHL.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. And, I mean, look at his structure, right? His body frame. He's got, like, the pro body frame. And, you know, the skill and everything, and just could not transition that from, you know, major junior to NHL, and it's wild how that happens, like pretty frequent, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It was such I know I was really young watching it, but such a different game. Like, I'm watching those games at NHL Network. We always talk about this, but guys, like, you had to, like, be big and strong because guys were allowed to just water ski behind you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every time you get the puck, you want to go in there and get the puck, and like even when I played junior, I remember coaches being like, that was one of the things they watch is like if you missed like a hold up, right? If you're forward letting their forwards come on RD, and you didn't at least hook them, that was like they're you know, coaches were upset about that
for sure. Yeah,
which it was really bad to watch. Looking now, I like the way it is now. Maybe it's not as safe because guys are going too fast, but it's way better now. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting though, eh? Very interesting. And just looking at his NHL stats, like literally nothing. I mean, 11 goals in his NHL career. You know, 11, and he puts up back-to-back years in the WHL of 73 and 59 goals. And 40 in a short season after that.
Yeah, incredible.
Crazy.
Anyways, moving
along.
Fat Pavel Brendel. Brian Burnick, underachiever Eric Lindros, overachiever Chris Osgood. So
I agree with Osgood.
Yeah.
But
I was into when I saw this. I was curious to get your thoughts on the Lindros comment. I really was. I had a little note here to bring that up with you.
I don't think that you could put the underachiever label on a guy who will most likely be in the Hall of Fame.
That's what I have written down here. Is Eric Lindros a Hall of Famer in your books?
I think so, because like we talked about before, right? We're talking about the best Euros, the best player.
Yep.
At one point, Eric Lindros was hands down the best player in the NHL.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And he won the Hart. Put up a ton of points. I know that the injuries and all the off-ice stuff with his family and the Flyers feuding and the media stuff really puts a damper on it. But for, you know, a 5-6 year period, he was unstoppable. So maybe Burnick expected more, which would have been great if he could have stayed healthy.
Oh God.
Or even if he played now, right? Because the first time somebody hits him in the head, they get suspended for 10 games. Now, right? Like back then, he got targeted head check every time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think it would happen as much, but I guess when you're that big growing up and you're allowed to just carry the puck with your head down and guys bounce off you, you don't really learn to keep your head up.
Yeah, and how many times did he just, like you said, cross the blue line, with his head down, and guys like Scott Stevens are just lighting him up.
Oh my God, Scott Stevens made a career on head checks.
Oh, for sure.
Unbelievable hits. Guy's jaws just getting full contact with his shoulder, like that late hit against Korea in the final, like that's you're suspended now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many things about that hit that were wrong, but anyways,
yeah. But look at like you said though, for Lindros though, take the Hall of Fame conversation out of it for now, but is he an underachiever? That's tough to say, because the guy, again, injuries cut him real short, and he was all playing hurt a lot of times. But he clipped at way over a point a game, and he was basically almost at double the penalty minutes if you just go games played in PIM. So he's putting up 97, 115, 93 points a season, in addition to, 100, between 100 and 150 or 60 penalty minutes too. So the guy, like you said, he's dominating. So dominating. And it's crazy. It's just wild to think that, so, yeah.
And that year was kind of funny because, I don't know if people know this, but the Leafs made a stupid trade. Believe it or not, the Leafs made a stupid trade. Unbelievable. That year, and gave away their first round pick for Tom Curvers from the Devils.
Yeah.
The Leafs were so terrible that they were most likely going to finish last, but New Jersey had their pick, so they were like, "Oh my God, we can't finish dead last because we're going to gift this pick to New Jersey to get Eric Lindros." So they actually picked up guys along the way to try to win a few more games to get out of the basement. They ended up finishing third. The Nordiques picked the best player in that draft, Scott Niedermayer.
Yeah.
So that's a Leaf draft pick. Scott Niedermayer that's like Tyler Seguin all over again, right? But
yeah.
I just think if the Leafs would have kept that pick and been a little bit shitty on purpose, they could have had Lindros from the beginning. But it's all hindsight. But let's move on.
Moving on. Jonesy has the over and the under as Daniel Cleary.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that? He put for over and under, and he attached a link, and it was a picture of Dan Cleary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good effort on the tweet.
Yeah, pretty funny.
They just signed him back, eh?
They did. They just signed him.
A
1-year deal, yeah. Shocker. Real quick, so some Dan Cleary stories. Serious time with the boys back in the day, that guy.
Yeah?
Oh, man.
Oh, when because he was like a Crosby growing up.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
He was pegged to be,
Yeah. The next one in junior hockey, he absolutely lit up Major Junior. And had a great time doing it, apparently, from some stories that I've heard. So, moving on. Shocker. So his thing, he's got past Luc Robitaille.
He didn't, see, he still didn't get it, though.
No, he didn't,
what are you doing past and present for?
Yeah, apparently he liked that segment a couple weeks ago, past and present. So his past overachiever is Luc Robitaille. Not a bad one. And his current overachiever, Tyler Johnson. And then his past underachiever, and I'm going to butcher the name, Jason Bonsignor.
He's some guy who was good in the World Junior that never turned out to be anything. But
yeah, exactly. And then his present day underachiever is Nikita Filatov.
Well, I guess he played for Columbus for a bit and then went back home, right? So
yeah,
I guess...
exactly. Yeah, I think he was in the 09 draft or something like that. But he was a bust. He was kind of like a Brendel, float around for 40, 50, 60 games total over the course of a handful of years and get out of there. So, in the words of Lois Einhorn, get out of here! Trav from Down Under. His
From Melbourne.
From Melbourne. Trav T from Melbourne. His underachievers, Alexandra Dag and Patty Falloon. So T's keeping it. T's digging back into the box of 1992 O-Peaches. But some names in our era.
I don't know if that sorry to cut you off there, but I'm thinking I don't really think that, just to go right at Trav because he's so far away he can't really do anything back to me. That what do you we're talking about guys who have made it and that just aren't, that they could give you more. I think that's what the whole point is, right?
Yes.
Alexander Dag crashed and burned. He would be if next topic we have biggest bust in NHL history.
With along the Patrick Stefan.
He even fits it. Right, exactly. I don't think that he fits in this topic. So Trav, wake up. Wake up. Moving along.
Pat Falloon. Does Pat Falloon fall in the mix?
I could see that, but I thought he had a couple good years, but I don't really know much about Pat Falloon. I remember watching him because he's out in San Jose. I remember that jersey, but I don't remember much anything else besides where he played, really.
Yeah, so I remember watching him, and I don't know why, but watching him with the Spokane Chiefs. And he was...
Come on.
Yeah, I swear to God. And there was the only reason I know, there was one series of hockey cards where they would have the up and coming superstars, So and they had him.
I know what you're talking about.
In the Spokane Chiefs jersey, and I think I had a Lindros one with the Oshawa Generals jersey on. And I was like, oh man, who the hell's this Pat Falloon guy? So that's when I kind of started following him, and again, he's a guy who put up monster truck numbers in the dub, and then had he's a second overall pick in '91. And then had, a couple okay seasons with San Jose. I mean, I got it in front of me. His rookie season, straight out of Major Junior, 79 games played, 25 goals, 34 assists, 59 points. Not a bad rookie season at all, yeah. Second season, cut short with injuries, but 41 games, 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points. Not bad. Third season, full season, 83 games, 22 goals, 31 assists, 53 points. Again, not bad. And then he kind of went down from there. Is he in that category of one of the biggest underachievers ever in the game of hockey? That's kind of tough to swallow. But maybe.
Back then, Major Junior's success did not translate.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Because we know all the guys that played for the Spits, that had all these huge numbers for the Windsor Spitfires, like Peter Sarno, right?
Yeah, Billy Bowler.
And there's so many guys that if there wasn't that clutching and grabbing, that they could actually skate around and get to the net, they could be so much better. But now they're just they were just held back there, so it's just totally different than it is today, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, can I tell a story?
Of course.
Unbelievable story. It's so funny, and I like telling stories that make me look completely terrible on this podcast. But, and I told you I have a story from this week, and it's unreal. So last week was our first practice for the team I'm coaching, right? So before we go in coach's room and we meet the guys, and I know that half the staff there, and met a couple guys that are coaches / parents of the kids, and we go in the room, and the head coach brings us into where the guys are getting ready for practice, and he introduces one guy on our team. He's coached them before, so the kids know him. A second guy we mentioned before on this podcast, Greg Day. Our coach goes in this big thing. Greg, world-class talent, played at Bowling Green, played some games in the AHL, played a bunch of years in Europe. If it wasn't for the holding and clutching and grabbing in the NHL when he was younger, he probably would be playing in the NHL. Guys, this is Sean Voy, our goalie coach. I played pickup with him. He's a good guy. That's all I got.
Nice.
Then I'm like, I go back in the room. I'm like, come on, nothing. I got a decent resume. Nothing. He's laughing at me. I'm like, real nice.
That's classic.
Nice intro to the kids. We play pickup together. He's a good guy. What the hell?
Classic. That's unreal. Couple overachievers for Trav. Couple common names that'll pop up here. Dino Ciccarelli and Marty St. Louis. I mean, both those guys got to be. Dino's a common one that everybody says, and then Marty St. Louis, that fits the mold, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess got a lot out of his body size more than anything. Tons of talent, but just his body size, right?
Yeah, undrafted too, Marty St. Louis. Undrafted out of Vermont, I believe. And moved his way up from there, and obviously, Olympic teams and Stanley Cups and all that stuff, or a cup. I don't know if multiple, but
he won the cup with Tampa when they beat Calgary, which is kind of ironic, right? Because Calgary was a team that put him on waivers for Tampa to pick up, and he had a great. I kind of got soured by the end of his career.
Why is that?
Because he kind of was being a little whiny, right? He wanted, all of a sudden he didn't get picked from the Olympic team from Steve Yzerman. He wanted to get traded to New York.
Yeah.
He demanded a trade.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, and again, they lose this year to New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, pardon me, Tampa Bay beats New York this year, so it's a tough way to go out, and he just retired. So I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure, right? He won the Art Ross at least once, Stanley Cup, gold medal. I think he might have 1,000 points in his career, which is crazy for being undrafted.
Yep.
So definitely, I don't know. Yeah, you got a lot of his talent. So who is there? Anybody we're missing here with the?
Coop Lane. Yeah, just real quick, we'll thumb through and then we'll jump into ours. So Coop Lane, he's got Dino and Stumpy, which is a for sure. Who else here? Plot, underachiever Rick DiPietro, and Alexei Yashin, which.
Yeah.
You think Yashin for an underachiever?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But Mike is he's always spot on with his opinions about hockey. So let's just take his word. And
then he's got, I'm a little confused here. So maybe you can translate for me. His under, he has Rick DiPietro, #soft. Alexei Yashin, #turtleneck. I get that. Overachievers, and then he says present, Brendan Gallagher, #heart, but it's spelled HART, so I don't know if he means Hart Trophy or if it's a misspelling of the word heart.
He's just not, his spelling, great guy, not the best speller.
Yeah, and then he also has Dom Hasek, #Dominator. So I don't know if Dom is an overachiever, if that's what that means. I think.
I don't know how it...
I think, but I'm confused by the present because I don't think Hasek's playing anymore, is he? I'm not being smart.
No, he's not playing anymore, Marty.
Okay. So, DiPietro, I can see that. Yashin, that's
Mike's really got to clean up his act. And
but I love the enthusiasm and the efficiency and quickness in how fast he responds. So I don't want to put him down and make him seem like we don't love the responses, because I do. I just want to make sure I'm translating it correctly for everybody. So, anyways, all right.
Big friend of the show.
Big fan. Who you got? Over and under.
And folks out there, if you ever need any tickets, Mike's your guy. So there you go.
Yeah, whenever you hear people say, I got a guy for tickets, they're referring to him.
Yeah.
Who you got?
So I got like a overachiever guy who got most out of the least, and I'm going to go with Cooper Lane's call. Stumpy Thomas. Gotta love it.
Really, eh?
Some of my, just 5'10", heart of a lion. Just give everything you got every time. How I got like that's running shotgun next to Matt's. I mean,
yeah.
Some of my biggest memories as a Leaf fan is him playing, and even now once in a while I'll pop on like an old Leafs Sens highlight with Bob Cole calling it, and Thomas scores OT winner, and every hair on my body stands up. So gotta love that,
Yeah.
Stumpy Thomas. And then underachiever, talking to an old coach of mine the other day, and we were shooting the shit about what's going to come up in the next podcast, and I told him, and he said, and I agree with him, Alex Kovalev.
Really, eh?
Alex Kovalev as my underachiever, yeah. I just feel like everybody always talked about how sick he was with the puck, and I just feel like he never... Because I feel like, you could have a good career, but still not get all
your
you
full
can
potential
out of yourself.
Yeah.
Right, because I think when I just felt like if he had a little more drive, he would just be... He could have been that much better and a little more consistent, and you just kind of get that label as a Russian that doesn't care, and I feel bad because I've kind of felt that sometimes,
Yeah. I mean, and we're talking about a guy who, again, I have in front of me, but 430 goals, over 1,000 points, and 1,300 penalty minutes.
Yeah, he was. I don't think any of those are fights.
No. Oh, he's a hatchet man, right? But I'm just saying. Yeah. I mean, and I don't think you're far off in your comments on him. But isn't that funny the way we're talking about a guy who's potentially underachieving throughout the course of his career, and he still almost hit 500 goals. And he's got over 1,000 points.
I know.
That's
crazy.
That's
and I look at his best point year with Pittsburgh. The top four guys were all Euros. Yager, 121 points. He had 95. Strack had 95. Robert Long had 80. Okay, and those guys all played 80 games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the year that Lemieux came back. He played 43 games and had 76 points.
Unbelievable,
so he was fifth on the team with half the games. Anyways, yeah, so those are my two guys. Who do you got?
Yeah, I went with Dino for overachiever.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to play with the consistency that he did, for that many years and put up that many goals, on a regular basis, and he was just like a heart and soul guy, just taking abuse in front and hard to move, and kind of, I don't know if created the position of owning the front of the net. I don't know if that's a fair statement, but he kind of, when you think of early guys that just parked themselves in front of the net on a power play and that was their job, just take abuse in front, Dino pops into mind, eh?
Yeah, and you think about it, a guy with that many points, that long of a career, I couldn't even tell you, because usually you look at a player and you're like, great skater. Look at a player, great shot.
Yep.
I have Dino, like I said before on another podcast, Dino just had that skill of just getting in front of the net, and he obviously great hands, but he never had that one skill that you could even think about. What did Dino really have? But he just made it work with what he had, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly. I mean, you watch him skate and not pretty at all. Exactly all the things you just said. Shot, no. Soft hands, I mean, he had good hands and tight to clean up the scraps, but it wasn't like he had even sick hands and tight. But he consistently put up monster truck numbers. So I went with Dino as my over. My under, honestly, I couldn't really come to a conclusion. I was kind of piggybacking on what other guys were saying, to be honest with you, and I thought about Alexander Daigle, and I also thought about Pavel Brendel. And again, is he really a huge underachiever? The more I thought about it, probably not. He's just a guy that was just a bust. So it wasn't we don't even know if he was that talented, right? I mean, he had 2 good years in major junior, and then we never heard from him again. So I don't know. Yeah, I did a very poor job at getting some underachievers, but I went with Dino.
But I always think about it when people talk about scouting, right? I know you do your scouting, and I talked to a couple at the rink the other day, and I'm not sure. I need to sit down. I want to sit down with somebody. I don't know. How do you tell, right? So you're looking at Pavel Brendel. Obviously, 50 scouts were wrong about him.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? But how do you know? Other guys are I'm sure there's a couple teams somewhere that said, do not touch Pavel Brendel with a 10-foot pole. We're not taking this guy. Please let somebody else take him.
Yeah.
But I don't know how what do you see, you know?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And a big thing, too, that, you know, is kind of leaky. I'm clicking back right now just to see, and I'll tell you why I'm doing it in a second here, is who his coach is, right? So that's something that I want to see.
True.
And it says here that in his 1999-2000 season when he blew up the WHL, Dean Clark was his coach.
Dean Clark?
Dean Clark. Yeah, who has been like a WHL coach for years and years and years. I don't even think he's coaching anymore, but was a long time WHL coach, and the only reason I know is because I'm looking at it right now. But apparently he was a late draft pick of the Oilers in the early '80s. Never played. He played one NHL game. Doesn't matter. So he's a long-time coach. If there's any kid that I'm considering drafting, whether it's in the OHL draft or the WHL or the NHL, especially NHL, any kid who's even on our list, I'm doing serious sit-downs with all of the coaches before I'm going to stamp my name on this kid. So the coaches deal with him every day in practice. They deal with him on the road. They deal with him in the hotel rooms. They deal with him in practice. They deal with him in games. Is he engaged? Is he smart? Is he a good kid? Do the boys like him? When you're not looking, is he working his ass off? When you are looking, is he working his, all those little things. And I think that you need to literally go through with a fine-tooth comb on talk to every single person, talk to teachers, teachers in school. And that's why I don't know if there's a disconnect because he's a European. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but probably a language thing, so maybe they didn't get a real good read on him. He probably wasn't one of the boys right away or ever because of the language and the new culture and all that stuff. So that's why I think Euros are like such a hard thing to do. How do you get a good read on a Euro, because they're coming over to Canada or the US or wherever, when they're 16, 17, you're putting them in a new country, new language, throw them on the ice. And then, if they light it up on the ice, you're supposed, it's hard, so any of these players, the little intangible things as far as, are they going to pan out? I think so. There's so much more to it than, what he's like when he puts on his hockey gear. Yeah.
That's why, with the Wings, a guy like, what's his name again? Håkan Andersson. Having a guy you could trust over in Europe that understands what kind of philosophy your team has and it translates over there. You can't really, it's immeasurable, really.
Agreed.
What it could do for a team. You see what it's done for the Wings.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's crazy. So
interesting.
Good point. So we're so wrapping that up. Thanks for everybody's participation. We love it. We got to keep it going.
For sure.
And if you didn't get on this week, just keep replying. We see it. You're trying your best. Thanks, everybody.
Definitely. You want to get into Jungle C?
I would really love to right now. And before you kick up that song.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't know about this. I'm doing this, just for the podcast, for the listeners out there, okay? Every story can't be from me and Marty. We need to bring new voices into the podcast. Do you agree?
Oh, mama.
Do you agree?
I couldn't agree with you more.
Right? And since we're such mental midgets with the technology side of this stuff.
Do you have someone in studio?
I have an in-studio guest that's next to me.
You motorboating son of a bitch.
And he's about halfway through his first tall boy, so he should be ready to tell a story. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Voigt, cue up that song.
Take us away, K-Boy. Take us away, bud.
All right. Great to hear your voice every week. It's been a while
I know.
since
What's
we could
going
do
on?
that. I got the big call up here, so I'm excited to be on with you guys.
Oh.
You guys are doing great stuff, entertaining the fellas. It's great.
Awesome, buddy. Great to have you on. Take us away, man.
Okay, here's a story. I'll try to make it quick for you guys. This goes back to when Sean and I were playing together in Bell River, and we were in our second year of a great run. We had some good teams there in BR, and we're in the All Ontario semifinals. So we're playing at home, game 2. We're up 1-0. We're up 1-0. You might have heard this one before, but I had a different viewpoint of this, so I think I could tell a good one here.
Yeah, my neck hair's standing up. Just so you know, I think I know what you're getting into. Keep going.
Okay, so yeah, we're up 1 game. Hanover's in our barn, and we go up by a few goals, and we're in control of the game again. It's towards the end of the second period, I believe, and there's a face-off in our zone, and they put their goon on, and this guy's he's got his skates on the wrong feet, skating to the hash, lines up on the hash marks in front of the net, and you can kind of see it coming. And my vantage point, I was injured. I had an injured ankle, so I was sitting up. There's a little kind of
you're up in the crow's nest.
In between,
yeah,
in between the 2 benches, and there's a couple coaches in there, and they got a camera going there too. And you see this guy get to the front of the net, and you can see it coming. Puck drops. He bypasses the defenseman and just goes and drills our goalie. Drills Shoosh, right? Just hammer Shoosh into the net, and then chaos ensues, right? All their guys are, all these Hanover guys are on board, so they're going after, all 5 guys on the ice are wanting to go. They want to change momentum in the series.
Yeah.
And this goes to show you a Jungle C mentality, right? Junior B, you're not going to start a brawl like this in the All Ontario semifinals, and and any level higher than that. So this goes to show you the mentality of your Jungle C. And this brawl starts, and their coach sends a guy off their bench. So he's going to try to outnumber us. So right underneath me is where Esfoy is. He was the backup goalie at the time. And, the good team player he was to get the morale of the team, he had his blonde hair and cornrows. So, he jumps over, he's in the penalty box there beside the bench. He jumps over the boards because he thinks it's a full-out bench brawl. He thinks benches are emptying. But it's only one guy that was sent. So Esfoy gets out there, and he's pretty much right on the edge of the referee's half circle there, in front of the boxes. He takes his bucket off, and he just challenges the first guy who comes out. So he's going and in the background, there's chaos, right? There's 5 other fights going on. So Esfoy is going toe-to-toe with this guy, with one of their defensemen, and Esfoy gets the better of him. Shoosh has already done 1 fight, and he's standing 4 feet away, clapping as loud as he can, cheering Esfoy on. And anyway, Sean and this guy have a great tilt. Shoosh ends up fighting another guy. A good image of this because we got it on video.
I've seen the video, yeah.
Like, I remember Chap coming off the bench like a bullet, because Chap could really wheel.
Yes.
And he goes full tilt about 90 feet and dive bombs the guy. It was unbelievable. But my favorite part of this whole story is referees kind of get everything under control. Like, we had another guy, one of our tougher guys, and he was actually a good player, Matt Meleg.
Yeah.
He went out there, got in a tilt, referee corralled him, got him off the ice. He went in the dressing room, took off all his upper gear. He comes back on the ice with no shirt on. He's bare chest, no tarp, out there going to grab on his going and try to fight someone else. So anyways, referees settle things down. Everyone goes to the dressing rooms, and, everyone's just beside themselves that this happened, right?
Yeah.
So Mazzella comes in, our coach, and he goes up to my brother and goes, "Sean, what were you doing? Now we don't have a goalie." Right? And Shoosh was in 2 fights, and then Sean jumped on the ice, was in a fight,
So all of a sudden, I can see Sean, his head is in his hands. He feels horrible. He thinks that their, goon tactics totally turned the series, but for some odd reason, Sean was the one who got a game misconduct, but Shush was able to stay in the game after 2 fights.
No.
So game goes on with obviously short benches on either side. We go on to win the game easily and sweep the series, but it was a wild scene, and from my vantage point up top there, it was crazy to see the barn was rocking.
Oh, I was just gonna say, was the crowd just going bananas?
Oh, the crowd was bonkers.
Oh,
it was wild.
Oh my God! I've seen the video. And your brother just put a licking on that kid. And then I do remember in the like the top right or bottom right corner, whatever, you just see Chappie, like you said, just flying off the bench.
Yeah,
just it was like someone shot him like a marble when you shoot marbles out of the ping pong thing, right? Like or not ping pong. What's it called? The little arcade game. What's the arcade game? It's not ping pong. What's the arcade game? You put 25 cents. Pinball. Yeah. Where you pull the spring back and the ball shoots out. That's Chappie coming off the bench. And
that was Chap.
Oh my God! Unbelievable.
Yeah. It was.
What a story!
It was a fun
what
night.
A story! And that's awesome that you came into studio to tell that, because as soon as we started talking about having a Jungle Sea story every week, that's the first story that popped in my mind, because I had that video ingrained in my head forever. And I was like, You know what? I wasn't there. I've seen the video, but I'm not the one to tell it. And I was like, and your brother's not going to sit there and talk about himself, wailing on some defenseman. So the fact that you manned up and popped into studio to tell it, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and we got to locate that thing and get it onto YouTube where it belongs.
If we, for sure. I mean, that video is one of a kind. Yeah, definitely.
But hey, thanks, Mart. It was a good talk.
For sure, buddy. Thanks. Thanks for doing that.
Keep up the good word, buddy.
Yeah, once we get our stuff together, we'll figure out how to get you guys on a regular basis.
Alrighty.
Okay, talk to you soon, bud.
See you, pal. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
So what do you think about that surprise?
Jesus.
How was that?
Unreal. That's awesome. That made my, September's still early, but that made my month. It really did.
A good time to get a fresh voice in with a new story, eh?
Oh my God. Unreal. Yeah, unreal.
There's the thing about that story is there's just so many other wrinkles to it.
Oh.
Because like you said, he was on the sideline, and I was right in the mix, right? And just, he's right. I gotta find that video and get it on YouTube. But it was
that wasn't
one of the
year.
Things of,
yeah, that wasn't the year when you guys beat Wallaceburg in a Game 7. You had like practice jerseys on, was it?
No, I played. That was the year before.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I only played 1 year. Yeah, okay. I only played 1 year.
Okay.
But they went on like a 2-year run was what he meant. And I was in the second year there, but
gotcha.
Yeah, little story about that fight and that is one of my friends who I went to high school with, and I was going to high school at the time. It was his first time coming to a game. So I saw him after. He's like, "Oh my God, this is unreal! Does this happen every game?" I'm like, "This happens once. This happens once in a lifetime."
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Oh my God.
Yeah, unbelievable. Then, we could do a whole podcast on that game, but it's really good. It's really good stuff.
Jeez, unreal. Good stuff, man. That's awesome that K-Boy came in, and like I said, when we first started talking about this before we did the first pod, and we're talking about doing a junior, Jungle Sea story, I was like, that story has to come out. And I'm honestly thinking, like, who can we get to tell it? Because I knew that you're a humble guy. You're not going to sit there and talk about you jumping the boards and beating up on some D-man, right? And I was like, who can tell this story? So that's unreal that K-Boy did that. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't even know what he was going to say either.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I said come at 10:45 and have a story locked and loaded. So
nice, good stuff.
I think this is something I will do in the future for sure.
Yeah,
keep it fresh. Get some new voices in there. maybe some guys you wouldn't even realize who I'm going to bring in. So it'd be good. So
Beauty.
yeah, moving on.
Moving on. Let's let me know if you're okay with this. We'll skip over the thing we tweet out the 3 best things. I'd love to hear about the Stamkos comments on McDavid. What are your thoughts on skipping that?
Skipping the what? Skipping the Stamkos thing or skipping the 3 things?
Skipping the 3 things.
Yeah, well, we talked about...
I feel like we're on a good hockey roll right now, and I'd love to keep it on that.
Yeah, I think the 3 things just didn't really work out that well.
Yeah.
The Stamkos thing has been interesting, though, because the last couple of days, there was one I read a week ago about why haven't the Kopitar and Stamkos extensions happened, right? We talked about this last week.
Yep.
I was all hopeful. Bernick chirped me for getting the Stamkos in there. But, they were talking about the economy and how much the Canadian dollar affects the salary cap. So we have teams that aren't really sure what they're going to get in the future. Where Chicago locked up Patty Kane and Taves for big time money. They're not sure about that. And another thing, which I really found weird, was that the report came out earlier today, right? That he said how he's going to be used is a big question mark for him. He wants to make sure that he's going to be a center on Tampa Bay. But I'm just like, what is happening? How does Steven Stamkos even? Like,
how is there confusion as to how to use one of the top 5 players in the game? Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, like why are we having conversations about, how do we fit Stamkos into a position that he's comfortable with? I mean,
oh my God, if that's the case, like everybody thinks that John Cooper's this fucking wizard, but I don't think he really is. If this is a problem,
I know.
Would you agree?
I would, and honestly, I'm a huge John Cooper fan, and I have been since he was coaching junior in the USHL. And then he moved along quickly, and I've followed him from his St. Louis days in the North American Hockey League, long time ago. Anyways, doesn't matter. So I think he's a great coach, and a great motivator and all that stuff. But I agree with you. You have to take a step back and say, what are you doing if you have Steven Stamkos on your roster? And that you're having trouble, putting in places. My opinion only. I think Stamkos is one of the top 5 players in the league right now.
Yeah, he's definitely in the argument for sure, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, would you put him in the middle? Would you put him on the wing, or is Stamkos a guy where you look at him and you go, Steven, where would you like to play? Okay, that's where you're playing.
But the thing is, though, is that he knows that everybody must know, like, it's NHL hockey, right? It's not minor hockey. You know that contracts play a part in everything.
For sure.
And do you want him to stay in Tampa Bay for 8 years, or do you want him to leave and go play for the Leafs for the next 7 in the same division? Play the guy where he had a kind of like almost a down year this year, and he still had 43 goals.
Right.
So what is Cooper? I think everybody just fell in love with that triplet line this year, which is kind of neat. You don't see a line like that come by often that's just playing tic-tac-toe hockey.
Uh-huh.
He's over a point a game in his career, Stamkos.
Yeah.
And he had a rough rookie year. Ever since then, it's been over a point a game almost. And that's this year. He was playing under 20 minutes a game.
Yep.
Oh. I feel bad. I hope this turns into a nightmare. And you hear one of those comments going like, "I will not negotiate a contract mid-season."
Yeah.
And then you just hold your breath, right? And it's the same thing with Mike Babcock, right? The Wings were like, Mike doesn't want to negotiate mid-year, and then in your head you're like, well, whoever doesn't want to negotiate a gigantic contract mid-year doesn't want the gigantic contract to come from that team.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, whenever I hear that, I think this guy's as good as gone.
Yep.
Right? Whenever people say that, I don't want to just, they're saying the proper things, and I think that's great. We don't want to take away from the team. We don't want to be a distraction. We don't want to, blah, blah, blah. But whenever I read that stuff or hear that stuff, all I think is this guy's as good as gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. You got to look in the future as an NHL GM. You got to lock guys up long term, right? But are you really worried about what Nikita Kucherov is going to make? Or can you move him for somebody young and just keep Stamkos, right? Like, it's not, you can't keep everybody. You have to keep reloading in the salary cap. I mean, you shouldn't have gave Ryan Callahan all that money. That's a given. You got to pay your top. That's all the good teams are, right? The top guys make a ton of money, and everybody else just falls in like good soldiers. I think.
And then you substitute guys out of the third and fourth line, and your number 5 and 6 D men, and every once in a while you plug a guy into your top 6 and hope he fits in. And like you said, as long as your core stays the same, and you lock them up, then you should be okay.
Well, that's why you see two things happening, right? Guys like, help me out here, Hoagie. Who's that young European on Chicago this year that, Teravainen?
Teravainen,
right?
yeah.
A guy who could play this on his entry-level deal. And then you also get the other side of the coin where you get guys like Scotty Upshaw and Scott Gomez going on professional tryouts to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Where those guys can, I think Scotty Upshaw, Scott Gomez, kind of a different player, but I think somebody like Scotty Upshaw could play on your third line.
Correct. Yeah.
But he's gonna make maybe $850, $900 this year.
Yep.
Right? So it just goes, the really old and the really young guys are so crucial to how good you are. But yeah, you're right. You just gotta lock up that core and just worry about the rest. But I mean, in 2 years, Nikita Kucherov might have another 30-goal year. How much can you get for him? You get a lot for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Just keep Stamkos and Johnson, and then you move on. But I just, like I said, no one tell Tampa that they should be doing that. Just keep it a secret. Don't share that, okay? Let the Leafs swoop in, because he's got to start thinking like, I'm here. I'm getting second fiddle ice time to Tyler Johnson. Like, okay, he's awesome, but I'm Steven Stamkos.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
he's gonna be 25 when the year ends next year.
Right.
That's crazy. No one has ever gotten a free agency in the NHL at 25 as good as he is in I don't know how long.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a crime if Tampa lets him go, because I'm pro Steven Stamkos for a lot of different reasons. Yeah. In addition to him being a hell of a hockey player, I think he's a great guy. He's a great teammate. He plays the right way, blah, blah, all that stuff. So I'm a huge, huge Stamkos fan. And I do think that he's one of the top 5 players in the game right now. And so for Tampa to even be having these thoughts or conversations, and whether they are or not, I don't know. But it's, it's like, okay, well, show me. So Stamkos is going, okay, well, I want to do what's best for the team. And if that means me playing 15 minutes a game and 6 other forwards playing 20 minutes a game in the playoffs, I'm okay with that if we're winning. I mean, he's a great team guy, so he's going to say that. Deep down, he's got to be thinking, can't wait till I get to Toronto, or can't wait to, till I get to Philly or Boston or Chicago, or somebody who's going to play the snot out of me and let me score 63 goals a year and I'm going to win a cup in my third year.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay him.
Oh, I think there's 29 other teams that'll pay him whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah,
I do.
Like, talk about last week. It would just be great to see a guy in his prime come back to Toronto.
Yeah.
And face the pressure head on and just do his thing,
Yeah, yeah, and from his standpoint too, to come in a year, honestly, still not a lot of pressure on him in my opinion. Right, so it's not like Stamkos comes in and he needs to hoist the cup in his second or third year, or else he's considered a bust. His job is to come in and fill the net and play the right way. And then it's Shanny's job, and it's Lou's job, and it's Mark Hunter's job to put the supporting cast around him and to find him, a Mitch Marner, and to find him, a Nylander, and guys that are going to support him and get him the puck in the places that he needs to get the puck so that he can put up his 60 goals. Right?
Yeah, and like you said, that would be one of those spots where, I mean, if Steven Stamkos could wait till unrestricted free agency, everybody can. And guys from Toronto hopefully would want to come back, because that's where, one of the major pipelines to NHL talent-wise is the GTA, right? So let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that's, it was weird because I saw this today. He had an interview, and because today was like the NHL Media Day, and he said, in all seriousness, he thinks that Connor McDavid is better than him right now.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's probably a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but maybe it's not. Like, this kid is going to be, like you said earlier in the podcast, like you think that people think that he's like going to be better than Crosby.
Correct.
What would you think about that?
Yeah, I think that people think that, and I think that as well. I never saw Sid play when he was 15, 14, 15, 16 years old. I never, I saw him play on TV in Major Junior. I've seen McDavid play in person when he was 14, 15, 16. I've seen him play in person in Major Junior. And I think McDavid is all world. I think he's just phenomenal.
I saw a couple highlights of him in like a little pre-camp skate with Edmonton. And it's his feet. I've never seen feet like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable.
The amount of strides and how quick he can get going to top speed, and he's always you know what, that's the thing though, I like it. He's in the Leafs didn't win the lottery, he didn't come to Toronto. That sucks. Obviously it wasn't gonna happen, but he went and he's gonna be in the West. And he's going to be on after the Leafs on Most Hockey Night in Canada, so it's going to
yeah.
It's going to make for good Saturdays. In all seriousness, right?
Definitely, yeah.
You get the Mike Babcock show at 7, and you get the Connor McDavid show at 10:30. So
yeah,
and it's just to have something to watch like at night or after, or just another little ripple in the whole. I mean, next podcast we should talk about that, like how many different storylines there are this year in the NHL. It's really.
Yeah, I think that would
really
be a good.
crazy.
That would be a great thing. We'll fire it off to the boys too. Like, what are the top 3 or top 5 storylines early on in the season, right? Because before
what are you watching, right?
Yeah, before the puck drops, for the opening game of the season, there's all the expectations of McDavid, right? And then there's all the expectations of can the Blackhawks repeat, or pick one, right? There's a whole bunch of different stuff out there, but. That's I think that'd be a great topic to throw out to everybody to see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get into it right now, but we gotta wait. We gotta wait a week.
We do. Well, you know what? I don't know what that saying is, but I think it's along the lines of sometimes the best things are worth waiting for, Sean.
They really are, aren't they, Marty?
They are. They really are.
Speaking of waiting for things, Thursday night this week, our hockey starts up again. The boys pick up hockey starts up again. I know.
Nice.
I know a bunch of you guys are listening out there. Be ready to come play. Okay.
FG. Is it still at FG?
I can't wait to get going. 7 p.m. Forest Gate Arena, Rink B. We're full. Zach Lane, the GM, has been sending people away.
Sorry, really?
Yeah, it's gonna be a full squad, and we all dress in the same room. It's gonna be a real brouhaha, Good times.
Unreal. I would pay money to get out there, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, hey, you gotta go to Chicago. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Good chat, and solid job on bringing Caveway in, man. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. Yes,
sir. You know it.
Good stuff. All right,
man. Good times.
Good chat, and we'll do it again next week, buddy.
Yep, everybody keep participating and look for more avenues to talk to us, and please spread the word. Share, retweet, share my Facebook status. Let's get us out there to more people. Let's spread the word.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Love you.
Off. Okay, love you too. Bye.
Bye.